Donald J. Trump has won the heart of all the libtards. They were in the streets chanting, "Free Palestine," and who came to save them? Their Lord and Savior, the orangest man, because they don't believe in God. The orangest man showed up and said to the Free Palestine guys that want the destruction of our nation, "I got you, homies. I am going to drop an N-word on this entire situation. A nuclear peace deal. There are 2 N-words, and we don't use either of them." And he released the following tweet. "Based on this statement just issued by Hamas, I believe they are ready for a lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop the bombing of Gaza so they can get the hostages out safely and quickly. Right now, it's far too dangerous to do that. We are already in discussions on the details to be worked out. This is not about Gaza alone. This is about a long-sought peace in the Middle East." And I lied to you. I started off this video with a lie, and I did it on purpose. I wanted to lull you into a false sense of security. Do you really think the libtards chanting "Free Palestine" actually want the war to end in Palestine? Do you think the people screaming that there's a genocide in Gaza actually want the alleged genocide to stop in Gaza? You absolute buffoons! The more dead Palestinians, the better their cause is when they're waging war on the West. That's right. They hate America, they hate Israel, they hate the Jews, they hate the Christians, and this is the ammunition in their gun. They are furious that Trump is trying to end the war in Gaza. This is literally the worst day for them ever. But what about the manifest destiny for the Palestinians? When do they decide their own destiny? The masses shout from the rooftops that they're on before the radical Islam throws them off. Manifest destiny? Palestinian decide their future? They did decide their future. They elected Hamas, a terrorist organization that shot 30,000 missiles into civilian cities. They fucked around and they found out big time. That was their destiny. I'm sorry, bro. Are you not paying attention? Are you not paying attention? These people are bad because they just want the destruction of the West. So obviously this is not good enough. Now, as you can see over here, this is in Israel. There was a massive parade, basically thanking Donald Trump for setting up the deal, saying, you know, it's now or never, release the hostages and the war. Donald Trump posted it. Very nice moment. And apparently Netanyahu was like, listen, I don't know. We can't celebrate yet. We can't celebrate yet because, you know, it's not over. It's not fully done. The hostages aren't back yet. We're currently in negotiations. And Trump responded, I don't know why you're always so fucking negative. This is a win. Take it. Quote from Donald Trump to Netanyahu. Honestly, it's for the books. It's for the books. What can I say? It's for the books. Okay, Trump knows what he's doing. I can't believe Israel controlled Trump and told Trump to curse out Netanyahu for being negative. I can't believe it. So anyway, Palestine protests are actually even larger now because, again, they're furious that there might be the end of the war. The thing is, the worst thing that could happen to the pro-Palestine people is the end of the war and the ending of killing Palestinians. Because if Palestinians aren't dying, what corpses could they use to fill their chambers of their guns to shoot at the West? What about their weaponized autism? And so, as you can see, this is a guy, Nate Friedman. He's a reporter. Here he's asking somebody at a pro-Palestine protest today, what do you think of the deal? What do you think of the deal? And the response, honestly, I was waiting for him to cry. I was waiting for him to shriek. I was waiting for him to piss his pants. I was waiting for him to say it's not fair to the Palestinians. His response was better than any of those.
What did you think of the Trump peace plan that was submitted? What did you think of it?
Honestly, I haven't been paying much attention to it, but...
Do you think that they
Honestly, I know that I'm on a Palestine protest, but I don't really read the news. I don't really know what's going on in Palestine or Trump or deals or... And
these people are all Tylenol babies. I'm telling you, the actual Palestine protests, they hate the West, and they go on these idiot marches just to destroy our culture and our cities and to shit on our people. That is literally what it is. All right, these people have no moral bone in their body. They are absolute retards to the core.
should take the deal?
So do you think they should take the deal? Pretty good question.
I don't know. I think they should.
Actually, I don't know.
I don't know. I actually have no idea what's even going on. Peace deal? I don't know. I mean, I was literally marching about how they're starved and genocided and dying and they have no chance. But I don't know if they should take the deal.
Well, then they weren't getting genocided, okay? All right. If there was dude, they say that there's a Holocaust in Gaza, bro. I swear to you, if someone offered the Jews a peace deal and all the Jews had to do was Okay, it's a bad analogy because the Jews weren't terrorists that were just murdering and raping random Germans. But the point that I'm trying to make is, if you'd have offered the Jews in the middle of the Holocaust for a ceasefire, the Jews would have taken that immediately. Obviously, there's no genocide in Gaza. It's all been a scam. There was a war. Lots of innocent people died. It's really sad, but it wasn't a genocide, and it's not a Holocaust. And people are protesting. They're super mad at Trump. They're absolutely furious at Trump that he's trying to end this war. This is the craziest twist of all time. Now, obviously, this has been released from the Palestinians, so you have to understand. So one of my favorite type of videos are, because again, it's a tragedy what's happening to innocent people in Gaza. However, the propaganda videos are, I'm gonna miss them. I'm gonna miss them because I like the propaganda videos saying like we're so hungry and showing a picture of like a fat lady. All right, so this guy, he's starving, as you can see in Gaza. We must eat leaves for food. Please. Oh, no, we must eat leaves. Leaves must be eaten. No. Please, anything but leaves. Oh, must eat leaves to survive, he says as he films it on his iPhone 15 and uploads it to the internet with a GoFundMe link in the description. Yeah, so, I mean, really, that's my guy. That's my goat. Anyway, so I am going to miss those. So, obviously, these are the Palestinian activists around the world. Obviously, not the actual Palestinians. They obviously want this to end. It's the activists that don't want this to end, because the Palestinians that are actually getting killed in Gaza, well, they actually would like to not be getting killed. The people around the world are more than happy to stand on the polite corpses of the people that are getting killed in a war for their propaganda. So here you have Motasem Dalul Abu Jama Gaza over here saying this is how they are trying to impose the ceasefire in Gaza. Wow. Trump and then a bunch of leaders around the world forcing the poor Hamas terrorist to accept the deal and stop killing people in genocide. Are you retarded? Yes. Yeah, honestly, this picture is more accurate than you think. This picture is so much more accurate than you think. And the reason is because Hamas does not want to end the war because they want more people to die. They started a war and they refused to end the war. And I saw a lot of good quote retweets in my time on Twitter, but one of the greatest quote retweets I have ever seen. Are you ready? Even here, the Hamas guy is standing behind a child. No. Actual death on that's crazy. I've never seen anything quite this perfect in my entire life. It's actually cinema. So obviously the retards around the world were losing their mind. This Trump deal to end the Gaza war is unacceptable. What do you mean? You were crying about ending the war for like literally years. What do you mean? What do you mean it's unacceptable? He's stopping people from dying. Isn't that the goal? It basically calls for a surrender of the Palestinians. Yes! That's what happens when you lose a war! What, Japan got nuked. Japan surrendered. Germany got bombed by the English. Germany surrendered. That's what happens when you lose a war. You surrender. Unless you're literally a death cult. Anyway, it basically calls for a surrender of the Palestinians, which it should. A demilitarized Gaza, which makes sense. They shot 30,000 missiles in the last 20 years. And no Hamas. Excuse me. Hamas is a terrorist organization that started this war. No Hamas. Like, this is the actual quiet part out loud. These people have been crying about how, no, we don't support Hamas. We just support Palestine. We just support the Palestinians. We don't support Hamas, the rapist terrorists. No, what do you mean, Dem? No, of course not, no. The mask slippeth, as they say. No, it's actually so insane. It's actually insane. It's actually insane. Like, you can't even make this up. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking that they're being this upfront about it. They've always been all for the murder of all these people. And again, a lot of people, I saw someone in my chat even saying that the atrocities of October 7th that started the war were fake. It's not Hamas's fault. That's wrong. It is Hamas's fault. And if you want evidence, I am urging you in advance, do not watch this if you are of the faint of heart. If you go to www.hamas-massacre.net, you will see raw, unedited footage of the October 7th massacre. Not all the footage, obviously, only stuff that families let get published, and essentially it's videos of people raping and murdering innocent people and cheering over the murder. And if you watch it, it'll scar you for life. It's some of the most scarring thing in the world. Don't watch it, but it exists. It exists, and if you want to see it, you can, but don't. But it exists. Don't watch it, but it's there. And when someone tells you, but actually, I saw a guy on Twitter with 10,000 likes say it's not true. Well, you could tell them that there is a website for it. So this is what Marco Rubio had to say. He's been cooking.
Okay, so I'm not telling you here that these are people I trust 100%, nor should we, but they have said, basically, that they agreed to his proposal and the framework for releasing the hostages. That's an enormous achievement. They've also agreed, in principle and generalities, to enter into this idea about what's going to happen afterwards, the Palestinian technocrats, etc. There's a lot of details that are going to have to be worked out there.
Lots to talk about.
This is a plan that the president put forward, but let's remember, it has the strong support of the UAE, of Qatar, of Egypt, of Saudi Arabia, the Turks, Indonesia, all these others. So there's a lot of international pressure on Hamas to make this happen, and we're going to need that.
And honestly, shout out to Trump. Only Trump could do this. Trump got basically all the Arab countries to put pressure on Hamas to actually come to this deal, because Hamas is the one that didn't want peace. They're the ones that didn't want peace. They wanted more dead Palestinians for propaganda. Do you understand how evil this is?
And the European Union, you know, and countries from around the world to also participate in making this thing work. So that second phase, the phase you're discussing, the disarmament, demobilization, that's not going to be easy. That's going to be hard, but it is really important, because without demobilization, you're not going to have a lasting peace. A lot of work has to happen there, and we acknowledge that, and we want it to work out, and we're going to do everything we can to make it work.
And that's basically what he's saying. He's saying that it's actually in effect. We're waiting for Hamas. And of course, they turned up the heat on all the protests. This was today. Every single one of them would be executed in Palestine or worse. All right, so here's a Queers for Palestine march. But these people have no idea what they're actually, like, dude, this is an actually mentally ill population of the country that's actually being manipulated by the retards in the different colleges, man. It's insane. Turkeys for Thanksgiving, man. Chickens for KFC, for real, for real. Look at this shit. Yeah, they have no, they're literally just virtue signaling. They have no idea what they're doing. It's so sad that we have a subset of our population, a subset that includes, by the way, probably millions or hundreds of thousands of people that are just gay. I'm retarded, is what I meant to say. Anyway, Ahmed Al-Khalidi said, Trump, here's a deal to end the war. Israel, we accept the deal. Hamas, we do not accept the deal. World, Israel, why do you insist on continuing the genocide? True, Ahmed Al-Khalidi, you are spitting facts, my brah. Literally, what are they supposed to do if the other side never surrenders? They're giving them all the options. What are they supposed to do? They want to get their people back. For the record, there are still hostages in tunnels being tortured under Gaza. For the record, they're still there. Well, why should they just give up? Did you just want your enemy to surrender, like in every single war in the history of the world? So this is Adam. Adam is he's a very popular guy on Twitter. Now, geopolitics, war coverage. He's a guy. He LARPs as a Christian white nationalist that's American. In reality, he is a man that lives in Pakistan, and I'm pretty sure he's a Muslim, which is interesting. So anyway, Trump releases this tweet talking about how Hamas, ruthless and violent for years in the Middle East, killed and made unbearably miserable, culminating the October 7th massacre in Israel, baby, women, children, and old people, many young men, women, and boys getting ready to celebrate their future lives together. They were killed, and it's really sad. And then essentially he says this: an agreement must be reached with Hamas by Sunday evening at 6 p.m. That's today, Washington, D.C. time. This is the last chance, and if the agreement is not reached, all hell, like no one has ever seen before, will break out against Hamas. So that's what he says. So Adam, a white nationalist Christian, who's actually a Muslim from Pakistan, says, breaking, Trump says Hamas has till Sunday at 6 to agree to his deal, or all hell will break loose. He is basically saying the Palestinians must give up their freedom or die. They lost a war that they started with the government that they elected, okay? At some point, we have to recognize that you have to fucking hold on to your goddamn pants. At some point, you have to recognize that that unfortunately shit happens in the world, and unfortunately there are consequences to actions, okay? All right, again, you have to understand, Adam here essentially doesn't want this alleged genocide to end. And the reason why he doesn't want this genocide to end is because he'll be able to stop using it as propaganda against the West, against America, against Israel, against the Jews. And that's essentially his strategy. That is the entire strat over here. That's the craziest part. It's actually really obvious. They don't want people to stop dying in Gaza. I guess genocides are just too lucrative. That's why Hassan Piker is also against this deal. He's like, I can't believe that they have an ultimatum. They must give up their freedom. Bro, I don't think you're aware of Gaza, the story of Gaza. Israel was in possession. Gaza was Egypt until 1967. In 1967, Israel was attacked by all the surrounding Arab countries. Israel won the war, and Israel ended up taking control of Gaza. Israel controlled Gaza from 1967 to 2005. In 2005, they gave Gaza to the Palestinians to say, you know what? You want this? We'll give you Gaza. We'll have peace. At 2005, Gaza elected Hamas, and they fired 30,000 missiles into Israel, into random civilian cities in Israel over the next 20 years, and then they declared war with October 7th. So, I'm sorry. They have to surrender. They lost a war. I'm sorry. That shit sucks for you. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? So anyway, like what he essentially is saying is, I really wish Israel would just say, you know what, fine, and kill ourselves. I really wish Israel would just kill themselves. Great argument. So anyway, wait, I had to show you the other Adam tweet. The other Adam tweets, it's even better. Dude, I went out of order. So this is another Adam tweet, everyone's favorite Pakistani, Muslim, Christian, white nationalist from America. Repost if you're proud of Greta Thunberg for what she has done in Palestine. White hand, because he's a white Christian nationalist from Pakistan. Anyway, no one's proud of her. She's retarded. This has 90,000 likes. It's crazy, man. That's insane. Retard alert. So, the funniest thing is, and this is crazy, I didn't know about this at all, but this is Greta to the Israeli court. This is crazy, by the way, and it's very funny. So, there are a few things interesting here. I didn't see this translated, so I'll help you out. All right, I'll help you out, gamers, because this is amazing. So Greta Thunberg went on her little boat. She went all the way to Gaza, where she was picked up by Israel because she was invading their territory. And essentially, it turns out all their aid ships didn't have any aid on it. There was no aid on the ships. I already made a video on the Greta Thunberg situation. But this is what she petitioned to the Israeli court. First of all, this is crazy. Her name is Greta Tintin Al-Arman Thunberg. Her middle name is Tintin. This is crazy. So that's the first piece of information. That was definitely an interesting reveal. I have no idea what's going on here, but literally her middle name is Tintin. And the other funny story is, this is her petition. I would like to go home now, please. That's literally what she says. Oh my God. So her petition is, I would like to go home now, please. And her middle name is Tintin. This is the greatest court petition I've ever seen in my entire life. I have to say, it's absolute cinema. I've never seen a petition quite this good. So anyway, the retards are actually continuing to protest, and they're getting even more violent. This is a Palestine protest from yesterday in Germany. And as you can see, the police are kind of bored of it. They're really cooking. Not gonna lie. Yeah, they kind of had enough, it seems. It kind of seems they're not in the mood. So anyway, this is, I'm pretty sure Australia, that they say they are going to shut down Australia until the Australian government gets involved to get Greta Thunberg back from Israel.
We're in Sydney at a protest for the flotilla, and after some talks, we have shut down.
The flotilla, for the record, is a retard on a boat that sailed it into a war zone and was rightfully captured.
The street, we have shut down the railway because as long as the flotilla has been seized by the occupying forces, the whole world must be shut down.
Bro's shutting down the world because an autistic girl took a boat and brought it into a war zone. Are you happy that you have retards like this in your country? Are you like, come on, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are you happy that we have retards like this in our countries, man? I don't know, dude. This dude came from Syria or some shit. Not trying to racially profile, but this dude came from Syria or some shit, and he's closing down the railway of Sydney, Australia, because of a retard in a boat that was captured. Why do we even have to do this? Why do we have to deal with this man? Bro's shutting down the whole world?
Free Palestine!
We're here in Sydney. What are we doing? Stop action!
Free Palestine, but we don't want to end the war because we want more Palestinians to die for our cause.
The protesters here have decided enough is enough. No more following this rule-based order.
Deport these guys. No more following this rule-based... These are people shutting down Australia because a retard from Sweden went to a war in the Middle East. Does this make any sense to you? Does this make any sense? Why do we have to deal with it? Why do we have to tolerate this in our countries, man? Like, this is insane.
No more rules. This is it.
Right.
People are taking action. The people have decided they've cracked. This is enough.
The people have decided they've cracked, and it's just all immigrants.
That's enough. We protested. We've raised our voice. That's enough. It's disruption time now. It's time to call civil disobedience.
That's a crime. This is terrorism.
This is the only way to stop the genocide.
Except you don't want to stop the genocide because you're protesting Trump's peace deal that would stop the alleged genocide altogether. Oh my God, dude. Like, literally, what are we doing? We are actually in clown world, man. We are actually in clown world. We must stop the genocide, except without a peace deal. We must shut down the world because an autistic girl was kidnapped for invading a foreign nation. So now that you heard what the retard immigrants in the Western world have been saying, let's see what the people in Gaza are saying.
يا جماعة حماس بكفي اللي بتعمل مقترح ترامب هو المقترح الأفضل على الطاولة حاليا مش بس الإسرائيليين والأمريكان والعالم والعرب وكل شخص صار
Everyone rejects you, this guy says to Hamas.
ما بيقبل. إحنا حتى الشعب فيه صرنا ما بدنا إياكم.
We, the people of Gaza, do not want you. This is what the civilians are saying, all right? Imagine being a civilian in Gaza, all right? You're like, hey, I would really like this war to end, actually. And you have the people running Gaza, which are a terrorist death cult, that want you to die. And they would like you to die for their propaganda. And then you see the whole world cheering pro-Palestine, but not that they actually want the Palestinians to live. They're cheering pro-Palestine not to accept a peace deal so that the war could continue. Do you understand how insane this is? And by the way, this is the bravest man alive because Hamas executes people that post videos like this.
ما بدنا. إحنا من قبل أكتوبر غضبانين منهم بعد ما دمرتونا وخليتوا البلد مدمرة. إحنا ما بدنا. اقبل ترامب طلعوا الأسرى الإسرائيليين وطلعوا بعض الأسرى الفلسطينيين لأنه مستحيل العدد اللي خليتوه بعد 7 أكتوبر. احنا بنقول إصلاح الخردة للجماعات الدولية اللي راح بكفة تسرقوا الخبز بكفة
Enough stealing our bread, enough stealing our aid. Because you have to understand, Hamas, the terrorists, literally steal the food from the civilians to get them to starve, to use their starving corpses as propaganda. Like, this is actual evil.
عدد بكفي حياة سرقتوا أموالنا وأعمارنا سرقتونا ضيعتونا دمرتونا خلينا نعمر قطاع غزة خلينا نعيد بكفي يا مجرمين بكفي خلينا نعيد بناء أنفسنا خلينا نعيد أطفالنا للمدارس خلينا نبني المستشفى اللي اتدمرت بسبب
Let's rebuild the hospitals that were destroyed because of you, because Hamas used hospitals as their basis of operations. A war crime, by the way. So, but they used that anyway so that, again, the reason why they used hospitals was so that if Israel bombs the hospital to take out Hamas, Hamas gets to say, oh, I can't believe Israel would bomb a hospital. That's crazy. That's actually their strategy. Their strategy was to cause as much harm and damage and humanitarian devastation to their own people as possible. That was the purpose of this conflict for Hamas. All right, you are not dealing with normal people. So anyway, Trump made this statement, and the world is not happy. All right, Trump keeps doing good things, and the world keeps getting more and more upset. It gets better and better.
To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name.
Beautiful name.
Of Peace, which will be headed not at my request. I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it will be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want to
Donald Trump is now the ruler of Gaza if they accept this peace deal. Until a whole new government ends up in place, not NATO, not the UN, not the Palestinian Authority, Donald J. Trump, for the moment that Hamas accepts this peace deal, will be the ruler of Gaza. And let's just say a lot of people are really not happy about this.
Some extra work to do, but
It's interesting.
it's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders.
Sorry, Canada, you're not the 51st. You give me the 52nd state. Bro heard free Palestine and thought, don't mind if I do.
And we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair. Good man, very good man.
I want to be on the board. Remember when I was going to go to Israel? That was pretty crazy.
Anyway, I think that's just insane. So Trump is now the de facto leader of Gaza, which is definitely a twist no one saw coming. So this is the Palestine News Network. They're like the most trusted Palestine news. Yahya Sinwar, who was the leader of Hamas when the war started, he's dead, died like a dog. A beautiful dog. He's currently in hell having sex with 72 Frogans. Is the most influential person of the 21st century. So again, they are still celebrating the guy that started the war that caused all these Palestinians to die. You have to understand it's a death cult, all right? The moment you get it's a death cult, it actually changes your perspective on a lot of shit. The moment you understand this is in fact a death cult, it will change your perspective. They are still celebrating the guy that started the war that caused all of these deaths. In other words, they wanted these people to die for their propaganda. It's sick, it's twisted, it's disgusting, and that's actually what they wanted. And I saw another glorious clapback. This is from the Mossad's satire site. Yes, one man caused the collapse of Hamas, Hezbollah, the IRGC's nuclear program, that's Iran, and turned the entire Gaza Strip into a pile of rubble. I agree, he's influential. Probably not in the way that they meant it, but this is definitely one of the clapbacks of all time. So yes, technically he is influential, but we did not look like that's another perspective to have. Now, I wanted to, before we get into the media covering this, because the media is disgusting, I wanted to show you this. More Christians have been killed in Nigeria than Muslims in Palestine. Where are the protests for them? Over 100,000 Christians have been murdered in Nigeria. I mentioned this several times because I feel like I don't see anyone else talking about it. So I feel like it's really important to note that this is an actual genocide that's happening. A genocide is the intentional elimination of an entire group of people. For the record, that's not what Israel is doing in Gaza, because otherwise it would have happened already. If Israel wanted to genocide Gaza, Gaza would be genocided. That obviously didn't happen. Israel gave them food. Why would Israel be giving food to people that they're trying to genocide? Why would Israel drop leaflets and warnings where they're going to blow up buildings before they blow up the buildings if there was a genocide? It's obviously not a genocide, but this is. This is radical Muslims in Nigeria trying to kill every Christian in the country, and they've already killed over 100,000 Christians. Pay attention. This is Boko Haram. People in Nigeria murdering Christians, and in the most brutal ways imaginable. These are Islamists going to Christian villages and setting homes on fire in Nigeria. They're burning Christians alive, offering them as human sacrifices as they scream Allahu Akbar. Right, Allahu Akbar, God is great, as they literally burn people alive. So I wanted to mention this because, again, I'm going to keep trying to bring attention to something like this as often as I can, because, again, I don't see anyone else doing it. To every person that's screaming about Trump ending a war in Gaza, but literally being silent about an actual genocide that has been going on for years now, it's truly frightening. And it goes to show that none of these people actually give a shit about anything that they're making believe that they're propagandizing for. They really don't care. They have no empathy. They are purely apathetic. They are literally just, I care about the current thing, and that's it. So liberals choke up in disbelief over Trump announcing Hamas's deal to give back the hostages. So again, remember, this is the leftoids saying Trump never gets anything done. He never actually makes peace. Well, Trump's making peace. So let's watch the media freak out.
I want to thank the countries that helped me put this together. Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is a big day.
Big day.
We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete.
Is it just me, or did he start wearing that plane pin after he bombed Iran? I feel like ever since he bombed Iran, he started wearing this pin. Like, just to remind everyone, don't fuck with me or I will bomb your shit. And I respect, I support that.
Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages,
Amen.
Unfortunately, you know the condition they're in.
Yeah.
Come home likewise to their parents, because their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented, but thank you all, and thank you all
crazy,
to those
man.
great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East, and we're very close to achieving that.
Yeah, we great.
Thank you all.
If he could actually do some Abraham Accords, it would change the world. What a monster, right, guys? What a monster. What a monster. Look at this fascist dictator over here, ending wars and stopping people from dying. That's crazy.
Everybody will be treated fairly.
Bro, they got to start posting images of Hamas leaders in sombreros. I feel like we got to do that.
All right, guys. So we got to talk
So
about...
anyway, breaking news. Hamas apparently sort of accepted the peace deal. Trump's peace deal had like 18 points. They accepted like 13 of the 18 points. So it's currently up in the air if this is going to be accepted by Trump or not. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, you know, it's not over yet, but we'll see what happens.
President Trump, who appears to want to be the president of peace, right? He's attempting to be the president of peace. Now, again, how it actually goes...
Where it was 20 points and they accepted 7, someone in my chat said. Yeah, something like that. They didn't accept the entire deal. Again, we'll see what happens. It's getting scary, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, who knows, okay? Because President Trump has been trying to end some of these conflicts that we're stuck with from the Biden administration, namely Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Gaza. Now, we've talked about Ukraine and Russia, and it doesn't look like that peace process
it's not
is
going so well.
But like I try to tell you guys, you got to judge based off if there's a legitimate effort to obtain peace, right? Is the administration actually putting in a legitimate good faith effort to achieve peace? Biden didn't do that.
He is right, for the record. It's not about whether the peace is made, because that's ultimately up to the people at war. It's whether the administration did everything in their power. And Trump absolutely did.
With Ukraine.
Now, by the way, for the record, Hamas should release the hostages. And there's no reason for Israel to make peace until Hamas either surrenders or releases the hostages. There's no reason to do that. They're still holding Israeli people. Why should Israel stop? They overpowered their enemy. Let them surrender like every other conflict in the history of humanity. All right? That's how conflict works. All right? Either they call it a draw, if it's even, or one side surrenders or gets obliterated.
In Russia, okay? They wanted Ukraine to continue to fight Russia. Apparently, there was an opportunity early on to get some peace. They said, no, Ukraine, keep fighting, right? President Trump has legitimately tried to broker peace between Ukraine and Russia.
I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed in the Trump-Russia-Ukraine thing. I really hope that shit would get settled immediately. I really, really hope that would get settled, man. It's so sad. I don't know what to say. Like, I had faith that would have wrapped up by now, but it's not. It's just not. And it makes it harder. It makes it harder every time because Putin doesn't really want to end the war and Zelensky doesn't really want to end the war. So, like it's great that Trump does, but, you know.
Russia, at this point, who knows? They may just fight it out. But President Trump has tried. And he's also trying when it comes to Israel and Hamas/Gaza, the most annoying conflict in human history. It looks as if we may or may not be on the verge of a peace agreement in which Hamas is agreeing to release all of the hostages and to potentially give up control of leadership to a neutral international governing body and to hopefully turn Gaza into a habitable place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think ultimately today it's going to have to be an international city, okay? I think that the sweet spot, and I hope that the Israelis actually agree to this, they actually put in a good faith effort to allow this to happen.
Israel agreed so far. Still waiting on Hamas. The people that are, like, why, if you think about it, why is it so hard for Hamas to agree, man? Like, come on, you absolute pieces of shit. You absolute pieces of shit, man.
Is for that whole strip, right, the Gaza Strip, to be governed by an international entity. In the sense that there may be Palestinian leadership, but there's international oversight. Basically, the international community monitors and babysits the Palestinian leadership. Again, Palestinian leadership that's not Hamas, that's, neutral, they're civil servants, right? Engineers, doctors, lawyers, vetted Palestinian leadership, right? That, again, is overseen by an international authority.
By Trump.
That is probably the sweet spot because it's not going to be a state, okay? And, Israel taking over the whole thing, wiping out the Palestinians, that may be too costly, right? Politically for them, okay? So, I don't know.
Well, and also I think they really don't want to wipe out the Palestinians. That's the point. If they wanted to, they would have already. They don't want to. They just want the war to end and get their people back. Like, that's why they gave Gaza to them originally in 2005, because they thought that would be enough to appease them. But it turns out you can't really appease people whose entire religious belief is the death of all Jews around the world and the conquering of Western civilization. Turns out you can't really make peace with people like that, much to the surprise of the leftoids that can't even fathom the religious death cult that they're dealing with.
I just think that at this point, it being under international control may be the sweet spot, and that looks like the type of deal that the Trump administration is trying to broker, okay? So with that being said, for whatever reason, liberals are in major cope mode.
Yeah, all right, that's what I want to see.
They don't really like this news too much, even though they claim that they care
like,
about
literally
the
how
Palestinians so much. But because President Trump here appears to be getting a victory, they just have a hard time. They have a hard time acknowledging that, hey, maybe we should give the president some props for this.
I think this has been a gamble from the very beginning, but this...
Gamble? What's the alternative, bitch? It's intolerable. It's intolerable to deal with these people. Absolutely intolerable. It's a bit of a gamble. Gamble? The alternative is more Palestinians getting obliterated by a severely overpowered Israeli force. All right, that's the alternative. Well, why are we dealing with these people? How are these people on the news? This is like really Trump derangement syndrome. Hating Trump so much you want another 10,000 Palestinians to die.
This thing is not going to end overnight. It's going to be in stages, and the first big stage is going to be, are you going to release all the hostages, and can we get the bombs to stop falling?
I mean, we hope so. That's the point of the peace deal. Dude, I love how they literally put this entire set of women in the kitchen. Can I just say that was a good take. Putting the women in the kitchen, I approve.
And if President Trump is able to do this, this is a major It's a major win for him.
For him? For everyone, for the world. She's like, I can't believe Trump is going to take a W here. Bro, that's crazy.
It is challenging to actually hear that.
Look at this guy, Scott Jennings. He's going to obliterate her. Look at her. He's just like, are you retarded? Are you actually retarded?
You know, Trump potentially being the one to get the ceasefire deal, but I think
he's just like, why are you so mad that Trump is trying to stop a war? Like, he's trying to get hostages back to their families. What? He's just like, what? Look at his face.
What we are seeing now is that a lot of people are tired of the devastation that's happening to the Palestinian people. And so how do we figure out a path forward? And so I would be interested to understand President Trump's interest in this, because
I really don't understand why Trump is trying to stop a war, get hostages back to their families, and stop Palestinians from dying. I just can't figure it out myself. Are you aware that Hamas murdered like 50 Americans on October 7th? Are you aware of that? The October 7th massacre that killed 1,200 Jews and kidnapped a bunch and raped a bunch? That absolute degenerate, horrible day. Think about how insane that is. That 50 Americans were killed on that day too, in case you're curious. But to put that into perspective, imagine an uprising coming out of Mexico one day. All right, you were not expected. And they say, we want California back. Well, California's a bad example. We want Texas back. All right, we used to have Texas for a little bit of times. So they invade Texas, they jump over the wall, they kill 40,000 people in Texas, and they drag back another 10,000 people to be hostages in Mexico. And they have footage that they live streamed of brutalizing, raping, and murdering women and children Texans. All right? Because that's a statistic comparison between what Hamas did in Israel and what would happen if it happened in America. Mexico wouldn't exist anymore. If Mexico invaded and killed 40,000 Texans and captured another 10,000, they would get fucking obliterated. Like, you have to understand how devastating that day was, you know? It was brutal, and Americans were killed. Like, this is insane. They're so mad that Trump is trying to stop a war.
he has said some things that are very harmful to the Palestinian people. I don't know.
He said things that are harmful. They're getting obliterated. 60,000 of them were killed in a war that they started, true. But, you know, they were killed in a war. This is really sad. Kids. And his words were harmful.
You know, what his motivations are.
He wants the
motivation. He's trying to... I hate the liberals, man. They're retarded. I actually think they're retarded. She cares more that Trump is gonna... She's so mad Trump is gonna get a W. She would easily sacrifice another 10,000 Palestinians to stop Trump from getting a W.
I mean, he wants the war. He wants.
That's what he wants.
He wants the war to end for a lot of reasons. Some of them are personal reasons. He wants that Nobel Peace Prize. Some of them are that.
Oh my God! This is retarded. Do we understand what's happening? I think Trump only wants to stop the war because he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm really against Trump curing cancer. Really, Trump is just trying to win a Nobel Prize. So I'm against curing cancer because the guy that cures cancer is gonna be doing it for selfish reasons. All right.
I do think that whatever you think of Trump, he does not like the idea of all the death and destruction. But here's one more piece to this. The public opinion polling over the last few months has shown a very clear shift away from Israel. The unfavorable view of Israel is now at 53% among U.S. adults. And if you break that down by party, it has increased by 10% among Republicans and Republican-leaning voters between 2022 and 2025. So that shift is happening. At the same time, Trump is very aware that his base, especially younger Republicans, are getting frustrated, not just with Hamas, but also with Israel as well.
This is not a political issue. Look, President...
You think Trump is trying to stop a war, get hostages returned to their families, and end the slaughter of thousands of people because stats are saying that young voters are moving away from Israel? Are you retarded?
President Trump has been clear from the beginning. He wants the hostages back. When he took office back in January, they had an initial deal to get some hostages. A few were released. Then Hamas reneged on that deal then. He's been clear from the beginning. I just want these people back. The people who are alive, we pray that they're still alive. The remains that exist, it all needs to happen. And it needs to happen quickly. And that's what I'm actually, look, I've worn this pin every night just about since October the 7th because the hostages...
Yeah, that gold ribbon is the pin to get the hostages home.
What I really care about, and we seem to be on the brink of maybe the possibility that they get to get out of the Gaza terror tunnels. If that's true, I'll pray for it to be true every minute until it happens. I want to know how long they're going to give Hamas to keep up this deal. Like Hamas has said, we want to enter into negotiations to talk about release. How long are we going to let that go on? I don't want to be strung along by these terrorists. I want the hostages. That's what the president wants, and I don't want him to give them very much time because they don't deserve it, and these people need to come home. We're almost 2 years into this.
It's horrible.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. That is CNN getting choked up, right? You see how hard it is for them to acknowledge that, damn, if Trump gets them to stop fighting and the hostages actually are returned, wow, it's going to be a victory for him, right?
It's crazy. Like, that has got to be the most narcissistic, unempathetic position I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, you have to understand the level of evil that's on the other side. That's insane.
Well, why is he doing this for the Palestinians, right? It's like, well, maybe, just maybe, he wants peace, right? Maybe he just doesn't like to see the bloodshed, right? Maybe he's a good person. Like, I mean, who wants to continue to see this conflict? I don't want to see it.
They would sacrifice thousands of lives on the altar of not letting Trump win, not letting him take a minor W as in his career. That is like so demonstrably evil. It's insane. Dude, I want the hostages home. I pray for the hostages every day. I want them home. I absolutely do. It's a nightmare that this is happening. People roll in and they just take people and throw them into dungeons. Like, it's insane. It's insane that this needed to happen. I would like them home, and I would like the war to end, and I would like Palestinians to stop dying, and I would like Hamas to be destroyed. Literally, it's selfish beyond reality to be angry at Trump for something like this.
Again, it's the most annoying conflict in history. I wish that it would end. I wish that it would end. So, you know,
it's annoying for the whole world. Bro, people protesting, we are shutting down Australia because of Greta Thunberg.
Hopefully it comes to an end and we never have to talk about this again. I mean, we will, because I mean, likely they will be fighting again, but let's just hope for the best outcome in this situation, which again, I believe the Palestinians will have to be governed by some type of international governing body, right? And I know the liberals, the left, they're probably gonna boohoo, whine, and cry about that. Well, you know, they deserve to be able to decide whether or not they want to have their own state. And it's like, no. That's realistically just not gonna happen, right?
Yeah, you have to live in reality, man.
Allow the Palestinians to have their own state on their borders. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And I think when people like realize and understand that, you understand. All right, like if you actually really want peace, right? If you want to give the Israelis less of an excuse to continue to essentially take all the land, right, outright, then, you know, again, you might want to just take what you can get, right? Which, if again, Gaza can be under control of the international community rather than under the control of Hamas, right? And that makes Israel sleep better at night, okay? Then, hey, you know, that might be the best answer, okay? That might be the best answer to stop the bloodshed. So, with that being said, I want to react to Marco Rubio, Big Marco, on NBC.
Yeah, I just showed this to you guys. I just showed this to you. But yeah, no, this was super telling, man. Like, unbelievably telling. CNN people yelling and screaming, I can't believe Trump is going to take a victory. So yeah, so that's where I'm going to call it here, man. It really is a nightmare. Don't forget and pray for the Christians in Nigeria, because that's a real genocide. I'm praying that the hostages come home safely. Again, I pray for them every single day. I really do. And I would like this war to end as soon as possible. I want the bloodshed to stop. I want Palestinians to stop dying. I want Hamas to be destroyed. I really, really hope that this can be done in the most peaceful and good way possible. And you know who doesn't want the Palestinians to stop dying? Hassan Piker, CNN, anti-Trumpers, the immigrants, the Muslims that are protesting around the world, the Free Palestiners. Those guys want Palestinians to keep dying. They're the bad guys. They want me dead, they want you dead, and they want Palestinians dead to fund and funnel their infinite propaganda machine on their war against the West. That's really what we're dealing with here. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed. That's been my slightly dark outro, but no, absolutely. I think the takeaway from this is that Greta Thunberg's middle name is Tintin. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.